Have you ever wondered how a book gets published? It's a fascinating journey filled with creativity, determination, and a dash of luck. The process is complex, but understanding it can shed light on the hard work behind every page we read. We'll be delving into this process from the initial manuscript to the final, polished book you hold in your hands. It's a journey worth understanding. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of how a book goes from a simple manuscript to a published masterpiece. The first step in the publishing process is, of course, writing the book. Let's delve into the world of writing, a journey often filled with both immense joy and profound frustration. It's a trek that begins with a simple yet crucial task: creating an outline. An outline is not just a roadmap for your story, but it's the compass that guides your narrative. It's the skeleton upon which the flesh of your tale will grow, piece by piece, chapter by chapter. It's a living, breathing entity, flexible enough to evolve and adapt as your story unfolds. Once the outline is firmly in place, it's time to embark on the first draft. This stage is where the magic truly begins, where the raw, untamed ideas in your mind start to take form on paper. It's crucial to remember that the first draft is not about perfection. It's about laying the groundwork and giving your story a tangible form. It's about letting your fingers dance across the keyboard, pouring out your thoughts, your emotions, your vision. It's about embracing the messiness and the chaos, because that's where the beauty lies. After your first draft is complete, it's time for revisions. This stage is the crucible where your manuscript is tested and refined. It's about polishing the rough edges, about fine-tuning the narrative, and about making sure every word, every sentence, and every paragraph serves a purpose. It's a labor of love, of patience, and of unyielding determination. This process might involve several drafts, each one better and more refined than the last. And then, after all the sweat and tears, all the late nights and early mornings, you'll find yourself staring at the final manuscript. The story that once existed only in your mind is now alive on the page, ready to be shared with the world. Once the manuscript is polished and perfected, it's time for the next step: finding a literary agent. And thus the journey continues, taking us deeper into the enthralling world of publishing. So the manuscript is ready. Now what? It's time to find a literary agent. A literary agent, in essence, is your champion, your advocate in the publishing world. They are the bridge between you, the writer, and the publishing house. They negotiate contracts, secure fair deals, and guide your career. But how does one find this knight in shining armor? Well, the first step is research. It's crucial to find an agent who specializes in your genre, as they'll have the contacts and knowledge to best sell your book. This may involve combing through the acknowledgments of books similar to yours, where authors often thank their agents. Or you can use online resources such as Agent Query or Writer's Market. Once you've identified potential agents, it's time to prepare your submission. This typically includes a query letter, a synopsis of your novel, and a sample of your manuscript, usually the first 3 chapters or around 50 pages. The query letter is your first impression, so make it count. It should be concise yet engaging, giving a snapshot of your book and a little about you as a writer. It's here you hook the agent, compel them to read further. The synopsis, on the other hand, is a brief overview of your entire plot, including the ending. Yes, spoiler alert, agents want to know how your story concludes. They need to assess if the plot is compelling and satisfying throughout. Lastly, the manuscript sample. This is where your writing must shine, where your voice, your style, your characters, and your world must captivate the agent. Once your submission is ready, follow the agent's submission guidelines to the letter. Each agent has their own preferences, and not adhering to them can lead to an immediate rejection. And then, you wait. Patience is key in this process, as response times can range from weeks to months. But remember, every successful author has been in your shoes, waiting, hoping, persevering. With a literary agent secured, the next step is the submission to publishers. This is where the real fun begins, the submission to publishers. Now, you might be wondering, what happens once the manuscript is in the hands of the agent? Well, the agent takes on the role of a champion for your work. They submit your manuscript to publishers who they believe might be interested in your creation. This is a strategic process, with the agent using their industry knowledge and contacts to put your work in front of the right eyes. Now, let's imagine your manuscript on a publisher's desk amid a stack of others. What happens next? Publishers have their own teams of editors and readers who review these submissions. They look at the quality of your writing, the originality of your story, and its potential market appeal. They're searching for that one manuscript that stands out, that speaks to them, that they believe will resonate with readers. But it's not just about the quality of your writing. They also consider their publishing schedule, market trends, and their existing catalog. They're looking to see where your book fits in and how it can add to their portfolio. It's important to remember that this process can take time. Publishers receive numerous submissions daily, so patience is key here. Your manuscript is in a queue, and it will be read and evaluated in due course. And then, the moment arrives. After careful consideration, the publisher makes a decision. If they decide to publish your book, it's cause for celebration. Your dream of becoming a published author is within reach. But remember, a no isn't the end of the road. It's just a signal that your journey is taking a different route. But let's imagine the best-case scenario. Your manuscript has been accepted, the publisher is interested, and they see potential in your work. They believe in your story and are willing to invest in it. This is a significant milestone in your writing journey. Once a publisher decides to publish the book, the next step is the editing process. So brace yourself as the journey continues with the promise of more excitement and learning experiences. Now, the manuscript is in the hands of the publisher, and it's time for the editing process. This is the stage where the rough diamond of your manuscript begins to really shine. It's all about refining and polishing. So what does the editing process entail? Well, it's not just about catching typos or misplaced commas. Editing is a thorough and detailed process that seeks to improve readability, clarity, and overall quality of the book. It's a multi-layered process that involves several types of editing, each with its own focus. Firstly, there's developmental editing. This is a big picture kind of editing where editors look at the structure, content, flow, and voice of the manuscript. They examine the plot for any holes or inconsistencies, and they assess the characters for believability and development. This stage is crucial because it sets the foundation for the rest of the editing process. Next, we have copy editing. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Copy editors focus on grammar, punctuation, syntax, and word usage. They also look at the consistency of details within the manuscript, things like character descriptions, timelines, and settings. They're the ones who make sure your sentences are not just grammatically correct, but also clear and effective. Finally, we have proofreading. This is the final stage of editing, where the manuscript is polished to a fine sheen. Proofreaders catch any remaining errors and inconsistencies that might have slipped through the prior stages. They're the last line of defense before the book goes to print. Throughout all these stages, editors work closely with the author. They suggest changes and improvements, but the final decision always rests with the author. After all, it's your story, and you know it best. The editing process can be lengthy and sometimes tough, but it's absolutely vital. It's through this process that a good manuscript becomes a great book. With the editing process complete, the book is almost ready to be published. We're on the home stretch now with just a few more steps to go before your story is ready to meet its readers. The final step in the publishing process is, of course, publishing the book. Now that we've navigated the winding road from a spark of curiosity to a polished manuscript, it's time to bring our creation to life. This stage is where the magic of print comes alive, where our words transform from digital characters on a screen to tangible text on a page. It's an exciting yet demanding phase that requires meticulous attention to detail. First on the agenda is the layout design. This stage is all about making sure the text is visually appealing and easy to read. It's about choosing the right fonts, the right size for those fonts, the best line spacing, and organizing the text in a way that flows seamlessly from one page to the next. Next, we move on to the cover design. This is a crucial aspect as it's often the first thing that catches a reader's eye. A compelling cover can draw in potential readers, sparking curiosity and interest. It's the visual representation of the story that lies within the pages. Once the design elements are finalized, we move on to the actual printing of the book. This involves choosing the right paper, the best ink, and ensuring the print quality is top-notch. Finally, we come to distribution. This is where the book finds its home on the shelves of bookstores and libraries, or in the digital libraries of online platforms. And that, my friends, is how a book goes from a simple manuscript to a published masterpiece. So, to recap, we've covered the entire book publishing process. We've journeyed from the spark of curiosity that ignites a writer's journey, through the search for a literary agent, to the submission process. We've delved into the nitty-gritty of editing, and finally, we've seen how a book gets published. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the book publishing process. Now, you have a clear understanding of how a book gets published. Until next time, keep those pages turning.